camera. Hey, what's happening? Billy Carson here, aka Forbidden Knowledge. We just popped in on you guys tonight. Let's see who all fills up this chat. I know I was just on for about an hour and 10 minutes with Jimmy Church and Elizabeth on the Biohack Your Best Life podcast. But a great friend of mine just popped into town. I knew he was coming, though, because we're going to have a great time tomorrow night. But this gentleman here is a master in the metaphysical realm. He understands the quantum realm. And he has a great, incredible metaphysical product line of health products that he's going to talk about tonight as well. But we're doing a huge workshop coming up, the Blueprint for God Power, with Dr. B. Sirius and Billy Carson. What's up, Dr. B?
Hey, man. Good to see you, man.
Hey, man. It's good to finally see you here in person, man.
In the flesh.
Yeah, in the flesh,
Yes.
man. This has been manifested. This is a manifested moment.
This is right.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know, Brother Richard from Black Magic 363, shout out to Richard Merritt. He called me one day and said, hey, there's a gentleman on my platform who, when he speaks, the people listen. They love what he's saying. They're learning from him. And his videos do very well. And I want to put you two together in a workshop. And I said, well, let me check them out. I checked out your stuff, man. Your stuff is dynamic, man. Congratulations, man. I could tell when you put the work, when somebody's put in the work, I can tell when they put the work in.
Yes.
This stuff don't happen like I'm going to read a couple of books.
Exactly.
And then I'm going to start talking to people. No.
That's right.
Matter of fact, if you do that, you fail because those people have no knowledge. And you, my brother, have the real knowledge. Yeah. So thank you for coming down, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. And this is a wonderful event. This is a manifestation of destiny.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Exactly what it is, a manifestation of destiny. Richard Merritt thought about it in the multidimensional platform.
Yes.
He envisioned the whole thing and he collapsed it into reality by taking action, conscious action, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool, man. So we got people filling in the chat right now. Let's see who we got in the chat. All right. Dom, Rebecca, Al Ward. What's happening? Maria, Hanan, Elizabeth John, Gigi, Lisa, Empress Vicky. Thanks for hopping on such a short notice on a night when I know everybody's trying to get ready for tomorrow. And some people are trying to make their last arrangements for what they're going to do tomorrow or even go to sleep because it's getting kind of late. So I really appreciate it. But we're doing a phenomenal workshop that's coming up. It's going to be called Blueprint for God Power. You don't want to miss it. I'll drop the link into this comment feed here shortly. But tonight we're just going to riff a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about what is God power.
Yes. And, it's interesting because, we were told God is this man in the clouds, always, even as a child. It was kind of weird.
Yeah.
I felt like, that this was like a movie, and it was like, I used to watch a lot of science fiction movies. And I was like at church and I'm like, this is a science fiction movie.
Right.
The people are walking in a certain way and they're talking and they're saying these things. And a lot of things to me didn't make sense. It still didn't feel right. And I'm a feeling person.
Gotcha.
I've been a musician most of my life, and especially in jazz, it's about improvisation, and you got to be able to feel the rhythm.
Right.
And when things don't feel right, usually they're not right. I know nowadays a lot of people have gone into their heads. It's all about intelligence and knowledge. And intel is knowledge from the past.
Gotcha.
So the most intelligent people know a lot about the past.
Right.
Now, if you could take that intelligence and balance it with intuition that can only happen in the moment, now you're tapping into the God self.
Yeah.
Because the Godness is information where you're governing yourself right now in the space.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You are the captain of the ship. And a lot of times what we did was we fell asleep at the wheel. We gave somebody else, we let them be the navigator, the captain, you know what I'm saying? And you're riding on a boat. You're down in the belly of the boat, down in a cargo hold, not realizing that this is your vessel.
That's right.
This is your vessel, and it's your mindset that you've given up to let those people take over.
Exactly.
So, you let the pirates, and pi, that's that number that don't end.
Right.
And you got a whole endless amount of rats.
Oh yeah, a ton of them.
You see, and we got to a point where we wanted to, to blame people. We talk about they. I said, well, the they is you. You gave them the key.
Exactly.
You gave it up. You could say, well, they're the enemy. What that means is in you. So when I started studying at a deeper level, when I first saw the flower of life, it just did something to me. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
And then I started studying. I said, boy, it's everywhere. It's in everything. It's in the pine cone. It's on the side of the pyramid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was working at, UCLA. I was teaching at UCLA. And I took this job just so I could hang out in the labs.
Yeah.
I just want to, I was teaching a music course. But, they figured I was Dr. B. And everybody thought it was Doctor,
right.
B, but it was Doctah.
Doctah.
So they gave me the badge. I'm hanging out and we're looking in the microscopes, man. And I'm just hanging out with these guys. And I started looking. I says, man, is that the flower of life? They said, yeah, it's everywhere. What do you mean? It's in every molecule. It's everywhere. I said, so is that kind of like a fingerprint? And they said, yes. I said, could that be the fingerprint of the creator or God? Or could that energy signature,
right,
which is a sign of nature, be what creates this whole thing?
Right.
And then I started drawing the circles and drawing the circles. And I said, oh, wow, this is a flower. This is the flower of life. And in the middle is the seed. But I find that in each of us, there is a code that is built in from the beginning.
Yeah.
And that code is what I call the divinity code. We all have it.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't realize you have it because you were born in sin, a lot of people were born in sin. You were born into a family because sin is an archery term.
Right.
To miss the mark. It's not what you think, doing bad. It just means that you were born to a family of strugglers.
That's right.
They were taught the language of struggle.
That's the origins of that whole word. Yeah.
Yeah. It's deep. It's, it's all about how bad it is. I remember as a child hearing how hard everything was going to be in life. It's going to be hard to do this. It's going to be hard to get married. It's going to be hard to stay married. It's going to be hard to get a divorce.
Right.
It's going to be hard to keep a job.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard in school. It's going to be hard. And I was like, that word hard, my heart don't feel that.
Yeah.
And then when I got into music, I began to do things that were considered impossible and they were easy. It was simple.
Yeah.
Somebody said, well, you're a genius. And I said, I don't think I'm a genius. They said, well, genius is one that knows without learning.
Right.
And you're knowing what you're doing. Even when I was playing conga drums, that's how I started as a percussionist.
Okay.
Rhythm. And I picked congas because congas were about language.
Right.
Where djembe and drums like that, those are sometimes for celebration, for dance. But congas was about sending messages.
They convey messages.
Across the forest, over hills, in water.
You talk to other tribes over many miles using congas.
Yeah. And it's that shape. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, I got into the rhythms of the congas and, I'd go to the park and all the brothers from Africa and Puerto Rico and all these different places would be playing on the weekend, the drum circle. And I wanted to play. And they said, okay, you can play. And I would sit down and they would say, well, this is the rhythm of Wankan Wo. And I'd listen to it. I'm like, okay. And I would play something else.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, well, no, they would stop. Hey, what are you playing? I said, I'm playing Wankan.
Yeah.
They said, no, that is not the ancient rhythm. You can't do that. Sacrilegious. I says, why? Because this is the way it's been played for thousands of years. I said, well, who created it?
Right.
Who created this? Who first played it? Well, we don't know. I said, so did they mean for us just to play this like a loop? Is it a drum loop?
Yeah.
Like you just
can you improvise?
Can we improvise and add to it? And they used to get upset. You know what I'm saying? In fact, last year, one of my first teachers, when I was 16 years old, his son called me. And he said, look, Papa's like 80 something years old. We're having a birthday party for him. Yeah. We want you to do a video saying how you learned with him and, back in the day. And he says, I told my father I found you on YouTube.
Okay.
And I was going to call you. And he says, that's that darn kid, that man. He would never play the rhythms. He was always riffing and ad-libbing. Yeah. He says, but it was always good.
It was always good.
And, and even in jazz, we learned that if you make what you call a mistake or a misstep, do it again. Yeah. And do it again. And all of a sudden it's, that's genius. That's
beautiful. Yeah.
But I find that in order to really do this thing, you're going to make those missteps. So when you have a knowing in yourself that the God particles, the vibrations of all are in you and you're not out there, you're everywhere. Yeah. When I asked the preacher, I'd be like, you can't ask questions. I have my hand up at the end of the church. He goes, son, what kind of help you? I said, so God is everywhere? Yes, God is everywhere. God is everything. Yes. I said, so I don't have to come anymore. He's looking at me. What are you saying? What are you saying? Don't say that. It's everywhere. So what we are is we are a manifestation happening, and it's all vibration, right?
That's right.
It's all energy.
That's all it is.
All of it. And it's how you collect it, how you perceive it.
Yeah.
And when I got into, the quantum physics and I got into the subconscious is what really took me to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
And I realized that, things are only happening at one time. They're always happening a little differently. Nothing in nature is exactly the same. So why should we be the same?
Right.
So why do I need to follow everyone else and just be playing the same rhythms that they played for thousands of years?
Exactly.
Doing the same thing. But when you get out of that and tap into what really gives you joy.
Yeah.
See, and I realized something. The word lie and like have the same vibrational rate.
Same.
So, you go on the internet, you have to like things.
Right.
And what's deep is they show it as the symbol of a heart.
Right.
And the symbol of a heart is not the symbol of your heart.
Right.
That's a whole nother thing.
That's a whole nother podcast. Oh man.
So
yeah.
Like you lie. Most people are lying, and they learn how to lie because they're born in sin, because the people told them stories. The fairy's gonna come through the wall. That one was the one that really and take the tooth. And give the money the money can come through the wall. Where does she get this money? What kind of job? Who's her daddy? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And give me money under my pillow. I won't wake up. Leave money for the tooth.
Yeah.
So who's this? Sound like somebody, some being that, is this the gene hunters? I mean, what are they doing with my teeth?
Yeah, they want the DNA.
I said, so this is probably based in something here. Yeah. But we were told so many stories and so many things that were not, they were not vertical. They didn't move up and down. They didn't elevate us. They flatlined us. So that's
flatline you right away.
So it's a lie. So now, like I was talking to this guy, I said, well, how do you feel about your job? He says, well, I like it. And I could tell by his countenance, his face, that he's not happy or he's not joyful. He said, but I really like it. I make $80,000 a year. And I said, so, but do you love it?
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean? I love it. I mean, I have to do this. So you like it.
Yeah.
So the average person is lying and liking and saying that they're doing something that they need to do and that they have to like.
Yeah.
Because you're told how to think.
Right.
You're told how to think, man.
They're not living in their true passion. And they're not able to see that they can go outside the lines and improvise and access the power that's already in them and bring their own light from the inside out. People are thinking a lot of the times that the energy is going from the outside in, but no, it's coming from the inside out. It's what you're pushing out into the universe that's creating your reality, not what you're downloading and taking in. What you're taking in is cutting off your power.
Yes. And I was watching that show. It's a old BBC special called Light Fantastic. And they were talking about how the Catholics and these different people wanted to control light. They wanted to control the sun or your concept of it. And they were talking about how this Muslim guy figured out how the eye worked. And he says that a wave of energy comes from the eye, searches for something to reflect on, and based on the memory that you already have, it recognizes. Which is why, sometimes you can't see things. You see, look at a coyote in the clouds. Nobody can see it but you. Because your perception is based on your experiences.
Exactly.
You see, but when you start tapping into that unknown, it's off the chain.
It's off the chain, man.
Somebody called me the other day and they said, man, this thing, I see you on Brother Rich's show, man. He says, this guy says, I'm a musician. He says, you're a musician, huh? I said, yeah. He says, I can tell because you're riffing. He says, this is all coming off for the first time. I said, yeah, I can't use notes.
Right.
I don't know what's going to happen. I'm having fun.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, it's like comedy. I said, well, it's fun.
You're riding the wave.
I'm riding. I don't know.
See, the average person is, like I describe people, the average person is in the water and they're waiting for the wave to crash over them so they can recognize what moment they're in. Oh, this is the moment I'm in at this second. Oh, this is the moment I'm in right now. Whereas when you begin to understand your true God power, you ride the wave. You're on top of the wave. You're surfing the wave. And that puts you closer to a better level of intuition. the people that are waiting for the wave to crash over them.
Yes.
It's too late to have intuition. It's too late to respond ahead of time. It's too late to react ahead of time. When you're riding the wave, you're getting the knowledge in advance.
Yes.
You're seeing what's going to come before it even comes. You're able to make moves and adjustments much better in your life.
Yes.
And that's one of the things we're going to help you guys tap into. I'm going to drop the link. Let me get the link back again and drop it in this chat. I put it in the comment, in the caption of this video, but let me go ahead and drop it in here in this box. Blueprint for God Power. You don't want to miss this. Can't see what I'm typing. You don't want to miss this, guys. Space is limited for this event. We're only going to take so many people, so many students in this class. So you want to register ASAP. I just dropped it in the comment feed. Make sure you click that link and make sure you register ASAP. It's going to be an amazing workshop coming up very soon, January the 7th. Dr. B Sirius is going to start at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and he's going to go for 5 hours. And then I'm going to hop on and I'm going to talk for another 5 hours. We're going to teach. We're going to give you the deep gnosis that is going to set you up not only for 2023, but for future generations, for legacy. You see this behind Dr. B? That says legacy. See, if you focus on building a legacy, your daily abundance is guaranteed. And you'll be tapping into your God power every single moment of every single day, every single plunk unit of every single day, because you're going to inhibit and inhabit the actual infinitesimal amount of energy that your body is literally producing and pushing out to the universe to create future realities, not only in this dimension, but even in multiple dimensions. There's a lot that we have going on. You have to click that link, register for this workshop. Very few people are going to give you this amount of time. This time is very, very costly for us. It's very valuable for us.
Yes.
Sitting down and speaking for 8 to 10 hours and teaching for 8 to 10 hours, it takes a lot of energy.
That's right.
But we're going to give you guys something very special, and we know the world needs it right now.
And you know, it's interesting when you say legacy, you know, your legs, that's your root. That's what you stand on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know most people can't see their legs?
Mm.
They can't see what they're standing on. So when you say legacy, do you see what you're standing on? And do you see what you're building?
Right.
So we can't see the top of the building. We can't see our legs because a lot of folks can't remember their childhood. So many things happen. They can remember little pieces of it.
Yeah.
But that root chakra, though, that base energy that we came from, it was challenging for a lot of us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And even folks, you know, when I was taking a lot of clients, I had a lot of wealthy clients. I was in Buckhead, you know, in Atlanta. So I had a lot of high-end clients. Yeah. And they would come in with, they were born with gold, silver, and platinum spoons in their mouth. Right?
Yeah.
Super depressed. I was like, you had everything. He said, that's the problem.
Yeah. Those are some of the most depressed people, the people that were born with everything.
I had no challenge.
Yeah, no challenges. My oldest son, same situation. My oldest son, 32 years old now, going to be 33 soon, had no challenges. And out of the 5 kids, now I have 6 now because I have a stepson, but out of all the 6, he's the one that struggled the most. I gave him a little bit too much. He had nothing to struggle for. He had nothing to say, I have to overcome this.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
So he's the one that struggles the most.
And that's like children that are born through, you know, cesarean. So they didn't go through that trauma. Yeah. You know, the head being squeezed, the bones coming down the birth canal. So when the doctor pulls them out that way, you know, the mother has to do something to challenge that child. You can't just coddle the child because now the child can't ever become the diamond. Because, you know, and this is a big thing today. Sometimes the parents are giving the children too much. Yeah. You don't want them to play in the dirt, but they need dirt. So their immune system can be adapted to what's happening in the environment. Right. We're too clean. Yeah. It's too clean. Everything is dirty. So, you know, we become insane. Right. You're unclean because you're too clean and your immune system can't even build, you know, what it needs.
Basic immunity.
The basic, you don't have it. Yeah. So, you know, and a lot of us, we have what we call circulating immune complexes, right? So circulating immune complexes are deep because when you have a trauma, a cut or a broken bone, these immune complexes are like kind of like the traffic cops. They go and they say, okay, they let all the traffic go around. They put out cones and everything. Yeah. It's a problem here. Right. So the traffic goes around. The body has to work around that area. The body makes, you know, different chemicals to actually inflame that area, put water there, and lactic acid to make it hard so you don't move it, right? That's actually really good because the body is saying there's a problem here. We gotta fix it. After the problem has healed, after the accident is gone, after the injury has healed itself, if the circulating immune complexes stay, in other words, the cones, the yellow tape is still there on that part where that accident happened 6 months ago. The traffic is always going to be impeded because it still sees the alert that says there's a problem. But there's no problem. The problem is gone. It's just that the circulating immune complexes haven't been broken down by enzymes. When you eat a diet or when you eat food that has a lot of living enzymes, like, ginger, papaya, things that break things down, they can break down those materials that were made. You know what I'm saying? Those
barricades.
Those barricades that were created. So now on an emotional level, think about the things that happened and your emotional or energetic immune complexes put a barricade around it.
Right. Because everything's a fractal. As above, so below. Absolutely.
There's no problem.
Yeah.
When you can tap into the past that deep, you're crying like it happened yesterday, you're upset, you're angry. This happened 30 years ago.
Yeah.
First of all, the amount of power, electricity, and energy that takes to do that is deep.
Yeah.
So I have clients that come and they tell the story. They have their story they're going to tell.
Yeah.
And they got friends who they met through the story and they're all trauma bonded up.
Yeah.
All their friends got a story.
They all got the story.
And they tell me the story and I say, let's make a deal. Never tell that story again.
I love that.
Ever tell it again. Well, what do you mean? Because they don't know who they're going to be without the story. I said, let's work on creating a new story.
Exactly.
Because you keep elastic banding yourself back and you're living in passe. You've become passive. You know what I'm saying? You're broken. You're a victim to the story.
Right.
Or if you were, people who were abused become abusers.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Sometimes you're only abusing yourself.
Right.
Something's happening good and you stop it.
Yeah, they take a role in their own play. I tell people all the time, go laugh in places where you've cried.
Yes.
Change the narrative, period. Change the narrative. Don't stay in the same narrative. That's what you're saying. That's perfect. Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about that a bit on the, when we do this class, about how to break the bonds with these circulating immune complexes. And I say they're complex because they're complex.
Yeah.
But it's easy to break them.
Yeah.
It's not, I shouldn't say it's easy.
It's just knowing.
Simple.
It's simple, but you need to know.
You need to know.
You need to know. People don't know these things, and this is why we suffer. Because how can you break out of something that you're not even aware of?
People don't know they're the judge. They're the prosecutor. They're the lawyer and the attorney.
Oh, yeah.
Two different things.
Yeah.
Right? They don't know they're the jailer. You're the guard.
Yeah.
You're the cook. And you're in the prison cell.
Yes.
Once you realize this, that this is just a story. Because you're used to stories. You grew up with stories.
Yeah.
And one of the stories that messed with you the worst were those ones where the animals were talking.
Yeah.
See, folks don't know what this did to your head. That animals, you had to, animals don't talk.
Right.
Why do they have to make the animals talk? And then the cartoons, which is spirit, right? Yeah. Cartoons, spirit songs.
Right.
They were all chasing each other, beating each other up, throwing each other over cliffs. Now you want to know why people are angry and shooting each other.
Right.
Because they've become desensitized.
Desensitized. That programming code went right into you at the most vital time of your life, between the ages of 1 and 10. And now that code is in you, and you've seen people getting killed, murdered, stabbed, beat up, hit over the head with hammers and all kinds of stuff. And in your brain, they came back to life. So you go out here and you duplicate it. But guess what? Out here, they don't come back to life.
They don't come back. And folks don't realize what they're living in and what their potential is. Yeah. When you start living in your peak potential and you realize that I have the key, I've always had the key.
Yeah.
But your story.
Yeah.
Your story that's written is locked in stone. And you woke up today, for the first few seconds, you didn't know who you were.
Right.
You wake up in the morning, you don't know you're Billy Carson. You could be a ladybug, collard green leaf.
Right.
You could be, a piece of sand on the beach in Acapulco somewhere. You don't know.
Yeah.
Until your consciousness comes back in and you say, oh yeah, I'm the one that I have this, I have that. this is who I am. Then the phone rings and they call you and you call yourself because you're calling yourself.
You're calling yourself.
And that's one of the people, people say, well, when you were in the music business, you had a different name. I said, yeah. Well, how come you don't use that name? I said, because that guy's got trauma.
Yeah.
That guy's on drugs. This guy's in the music business. This guy's eating everything. He's got a refrigerator full of gold foil wrapped lobsters. I had a whole freezer full of special lobsters from Maine that were wrapped in actual gold foil.
Wow.
I was tripping.
Yeah.
I was like, oh God, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so when you are ready to break that spell and you know how to break the spell, there's something that you do in the morning before you get out the bed. For folks who don't know this is, see a lot of us who've been doing this, you don't even have to do the exercise anymore because it's on automatic. But we're going to show you something you do when you get out of the bed before you put your feet on the ground. It's the most important step. That's knowledge. Your first step is knowledge. Yeah. The second step is wisdom. You see what I'm saying? But before you take that first step, you've got to get into yourself and figure out, what is my goal? The average person doesn't know what their goal is.
They have no clue.
They don't know. I don't know.
That's what we're going to be bringing to you.
I work at such and such. I have this family. But is that your actual goal? Would you like a different destination? Are you ready to be the captain of the ship? Are you ready to be the CEO? We're going to challenge people to become the CEO. Once you do this workshop, it's going to take everything in your being to not become the person that you came to be.
That's right.
You're going to have to work every day. Yeah. And I tell folks, I said, listen, even if you just listen to this, just listen. Yeah. And then if you get to the feeling part, because seeing is one thing.
Right.
We're all, visual first, but we're actually originally, kinesthetic first. Right. If you could feel it, the ball player who can feel it, the musician who can feel it, the speaker who can feel it. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's the big difference.
Feeling.
Not just going through the motions. What he's saying is not just going through the motions, not just operating on matrix programming codes, but actually taking command of your own vessel.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
And learning how to do that the right way and persistently, and being able to consistently do that ongoing and not falling backwards, but actually keep growing and seeing yourself grow and looking back on your previous self going, wow, I made it from here, there to here. I can see the progress now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this event is monumental. It's historic.
Yeah, it is.
Because I can't ever think of an event that I know about that's going to talk about physical, metaphysical. It's going to talk about the language. Well, I'm going to get into the language that people speak. They have no idea that it's the language of disempowerment.
All the spells are casting on themselves daily. Moment by moment.
Living in the days of the week.
Yeah, days of the
week. Getting to the weekend. So you can get to Friday and be fried. You're burnt out. The fish is not what's being fried on Friday. Your ass is fried.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
So breaking that, and you can still go to do your job.
Oh, yeah.
And deal with your family, but you're going to have sacred knowledge.
Right.
And we could never do this until now.
Right.
And it's because we're where we are in the photon band. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about us being in this this is a 26,000 year, 24 to 26,000 year calendar.
Yeah.
When you know where we are in the calendar, because we were in the fall of man for half the time.
Yeah.
We just came out of the Iron Age, which actually at the end became the Rusty Age.
Yeah.
You see, we're out of that actually.
Yeah. We're out of that.
But the mindset was created there.
Yeah.
You see, so we're moving into the more feminine age, and the more feminine age has to do with more loving, more caring. Yeah. The masculine age was more about me. I gotta control. I gotta survive. I gotta compete. It's me, and kick everybody else's butt. I'm gonna win. But now we're in we, which is more to the tribal vibration. So as we do this, we're creating a family that we're familiar with. Because sometimes your DNA family, you're not familiar with them.
No.
So you don't know these folks.
You can be closer to your true tribe, which is not even related by blood.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, the things that we're going to talk about on this day, will be amazing because we're already talking about it. It's just sharing at this level where you're going to receive everything from the spiritual side, to the quantum side, and then to the financial side. Because I know a lot of deep spiritual brothers. They're sitting right now with an incense and a singing bowl and a crystal. They can meditate for 48 hours, but then they don't have a dime. I mean, can you give me a ride?
Yeah. I know
can I come
quite a
stay
few of them.
Can I come stay at your house for a little while?
I know, quite unfortunately. They want to sleep on my couch. They want me to give them money. They want me to send them, buy them a car. They want me to pay their bills. But they swear to be spiritual. But see, again, just like you can be operating on matrix programming in this general population, you could be going on coding as well, not living to your true potential in the spiritual realm as well. Just because you have a little bit of understanding of some of the spiritual concepts, it doesn't mean anything if you don't apply any of it. Because knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. And unfortunately, a lot of people get all the knowledge and they act out on certain things that they think look cool, but they don't apply any of the real knowledge, and the evidence is in the way that they're living.
Exactly. And there's these key times, the real holy days. There's times that happen where things happen energetically, not just in the cosmos, but on the planet, because the planet, she's a living creature.
Yeah.
This is a living thing we're involved in. It's not just a rock.
Right.
It's not the third rock from the sun.
Come on, man. Tell these people, man.
This is a ship. We're on a ship, a spaceship.
Yep.
And your body is a smaller version of a spaceship. You think your cells know that they're inside your body? They're doing their thing. Your cells are yourselves. They all got jobs to do.
They all got jobs, man.
They do what they do.
Little universes.
You know, your mitochondria, these beings could live outside you.
Yep.
They just want you. This is what the boss said to do today. Let's crash the system. Let's just be as dumb as we can be and just act like we're happy.
Yeah.
Happy holidays. You're not really happy.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because happy is a short-lived thing. It's a happening. You see, but the real Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
The real Christmas. Yeah. You know, I was doing a lecture one time, and it was we opened a place called Elevation in Los Angeles. And it was our first week open, I think, or so. And nobody knew about us. So, you know, a few people came to the lecture, and in walks Dick Gregory.
Oh, wow.
It's late at night.
Yeah.
You know, and he and I have been working together for, you know, some time, but I didn't even know I was here.
Wow.
He walks in and he looks around. I says, ladies and gentlemen, Brother Dick Gregory. Yeah. And he got up and he started talking. And he started dropping it. And he was very soft and smooth. And he says, what you're about to receive right now, no one within 1,000 miles knows this. I'm going to give it to you. So you're here at the right time. And he started breaking down this sequence of days and times and energies. And he put together a piece, because I had a piece I was studying that I had to leave it alone because it seemed like it was a dead end.
Right.
About the time when the real Christmas happens. We have been told that it's on the 25th of December. Right. And that whole thing, December, Deci is a 10. So we got issues with it. There's some problems here.
It doesn't even match up to 12.
You see, the numbers are off, and all you got to do is, like, my father was a draftsman. My father made blueprints, which is really, we're going to talk about that in the class. What a blueprint, why blue is this color that it is.
Right.
And my father would talk about, if you draw a line and it's 1%, you make an angle and it's 1% off.
Oh, man. Whew. At the end of that line,
it becomes 100%.
Yes, sir, that's right.
That was deep.
Yeah.
So if I say, well, this is the way you get to Los Angeles, and I draw the map and I draw it 1% off, you're going to end up maybe in Oregon.
That's right.
Or maybe in Alaska. Or maybe in, you know, somewhere in Peru. Yeah. Because the planet is round. So there's no up.
Yeah.
We call it up. Up north is really, that's a whole nother thing. It's like you got to break out of the spell.
It's a play on words we don't understand.
When you know the real Christmas and how to calculate it, because I'm going to give out the formula, and we were told not to give out this formula until a special time.
Right.
I was told not to share on a certain level until 2023. I was told, because I had several teachers. I had 13 teachers. Yeah. And Chief Little Bear, who was an indigenous chief, you know, in the tribe that I'm part of, he gave me a formula. Dr. Kwaku Ando, Dogon priest and botanist, who helped me after I had my, I had an experience in 1996 in the Bermuda Triangle.
Right.
Whew, that changed my whole life.
Right. The
5.5 hours of missing time, which I still, but it changed me. But they all said something. 2019 is going to start a wave of energy. Something's going to happen. It's going to shake everybody up. And then he says, when we hit 2023, everything's going to change.
Yeah.
Dr. B, you can share your surface stuff. Talk about your herbs and the parasite cleanses, because, you know, I do all that.
Yeah.
Drop the mother load in 2023. And Dick Gregory, before he made his transition, before he graduated, he says, I'm going to put all the right people with you. He says, all the right people are just going to appear. Yeah. I'm like, how does he know this?
Yeah. He was deep, man. That was a deep dude. He was deep.
And, you know, Dick Gregory and I never talked about politics. We never talked about civil rights.
Yeah.
Ever. I met him in 1996.
Yeah.
And I remember I was doing a lecture, right? And, I was, it's like comedy,
Yeah.
but it was a lecture about health. And I was making fun because if I didn't make it fun, I'd stutter.
I got you.
If I go to my old self, I can't talk.
Right.
But when I make it fun and, I can do it because it's music.
Right.
So he came in, this is 1996. He comes in this place, The Good Life in Los Angeles. And he listens to me and he says, man, wow. He claps. He says, you good. You're really good, man. I got you. I'm going to be around. I'm going to keep an eye on you. Later in 1996, I read the book Murder by Injection, Estos Mullins. I really got into Behold the Pale Horse at Another Left. Read the book backwards.
Right.
I started at the back. I was like, oh my God, this is code. This is all codified, And I got into, all of this deep stuff.
Right.
And I got angry. And I was doing lectures. I had on army boots, army pants, and a mud cloth, and a mud cloth vest, and a kufi. You know what I'm saying? And I was the confused, confused revolutionary. And I was mad.
Right. Yeah.
So I would do lectures now, and it would be no jokes. And I was giving the names of the people on the committees, the drug companies, and I showed how the oil companies are the drug companies because the drugs are made from oil, and they own the grocery stores, and they own the farm, and they own the seeds. Too. It was like we just kept going.
Yeah.
Mr. Dick Gregory walks in and he sits there and he watches me go on for 4. I used to do lectures for 4 to 5 hours all the time. And at the end, he gets up, he says, yeah, brother, this is probably going to be the last time I see you. I said, well, where you going? He says, no, I'm not going nowhere. he says, they going to kill you. I said, what do you mean? Now, Mr. Gregory, whenever he said that something was going to happen, it did, because he had his ear to the street. And he knew that wave of energy was going to take him out.
Right.
And he says, man, you got to go back to fun, man. You got to make this, you got to put some joy in it. Make it entertainment. You can drop science in between the entertainment and don't go direct for these people. These people are controlled by beings in other realms.
Yeah.
You are not supposed to do that. He says, you're breaking law. I was like, wow. And I had to flip back. I had to think about that. It took like a couple months off.
Right.
And get rid of the anger, because when you get to anger, you're at a certain level, because before that, you're depressed.
Yeah.
When you get to angry, you're actually waking up. You're actually moving energy.
Yeah, it's the part of the process. But you can't get stuck there. I got there. I was there. You have to move beyond the anger. That's where I'm at. I've moved beyond the anger. Yeah.
And when you do that, you begin to open up.
Oh, yeah.
And you realize that if you can get to the place of real love, the vibration of real love, which is like 500 on the scale.
Yeah. We
may talk a little bit about that in the class. When you get to the scale, what they call, what this whole thing about high vibration has to do with a scale and about kinesiology.
Right.
And when you get to the level of true love, which is 500, one person affects 750,000 people on the planet. So that means that if you calculate it out, you only need 10,000 people on the planet vibrating at the level of true love for this thing to still exist.
Right.
Otherwise, it would have been done. It would be a charcoal briquette floating through space.
Yeah. By now, it'd have been already roasted all over again. Because if you look at the way that the world is going in terms of with no love, all the bombs would have been lit already.
Yes.
It's the love that is preventing it from happening. Yes. And people can't see that.
And that love is here. And we're shown a picture of how bad it is.
Over and over again. It's the end times.
It's the
end of days.
It is the end of today.
Yeah.
It is. We're living in the last days. Well, every day is the last day.
Right.
If you live like it is the last days, you'll really live. You know, folks who sometimes were told they got cancer and they had a year to live, like me.
Right.
You know, I had an autoimmune system, you know, situation in 1989.
Me too.
And they told me that I had like a year. Man,
Wow.
do you know I started living? I walked away from the music business first because I realized that stress and me being controlled by the hidden hand and those guys that had those suits that never wrinkle. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, whoa, this is deep. And they were throwing a lot of money at me. I mean, I had everything.
Yeah.
I could go buy anything. I could call and they'd bring it to me.
Right.
I want a car, they'd bring it to me. But I realized I'm being controlled because the music I'm putting out is not what I came to do.
Right.
If the messages are getting deep, they'd bring a clipboard and say, this is what you're going to put in your and then you got to send it to the mastering engineer. And I was at the mastering lab. They never let you go. But this time I said, well, we're not going to do the record unless I can go to the mastering lab.
Right.
And the guy's doing these, you know, hitting these buttons and all this. And to me, the music is sounding worse.
Yeah.
You know, he's messing my song up, but you know, you got to do it. And there was an oscilloscope that shows, you know, the phase, how the music sounds and, you know, how it's going to be, you know, the polarity of the music.
Polarity, yeah.
And these symbols flash by. I says, what were those symbols? He says, what symbols? I said, I saw some symbols flash by. He says, oh, no, come on, you're high on that stuff again. You're high, getting high again. I says, man, I'm not high at all. I saw something. So I took a video camera and put it in front of the oscilloscope. And I took this to my friends and they were all in the video. And I said, I want you to slow this down. Man, just before your song played, there were these symbols. I'd never seen symbols like that. I said, this is like some of that alien stuff. This is some of the stuff they see on the ships.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? What is this?
Yeah.
And the guy said, well, you know, it's a calibration code. And they use that, you know, so that the CD player knows that the CD is there. How many songs, the duration. I was like, it didn't feel right.
Right.
It didn't feel right.
They encode it.
I realized this is why we had to go digital. Because when it was analog can record the actual vibrations in the room. Right. If the band was fighting and arguing, they might have made good music, but you could feel the struggle and the strife, the strife and the anger or the fear or the love or the joy. You could record that because it was heat, analog. It was, you know, magnetism, electromagnetism. You know, sapphire or a diamond needle on carbon. You know what I'm saying? This is carbon. Okay.
That's the old school method.
Tubes, transistors. So they switched it to digital so they could turn it into ones and zeros and control the people. And now, you know, CD was enough. Then we went to MP3s. And when you know the coding of how MP3 works, you know, this is part of the mind control. I'm not saying you can't listen to a CD or MP3. I'm saying there's something else you need to do also to get back to what's real. There are things that you do each day. There are bodily movements that you do each day. There's things that you say and envision and feel each day so that you can stay awake. Because you can live in the system. You can be in the matrix, but you also got to know how to be out of the matrix.
You got to know how to play in the matrix, how to get in and get out, how to maneuver through it when you have to be in it. I tell people all the time, you have to know how to play in the matrix. If you don't, you will be devoured.
You will be eaten.
That's right.
You know, George Clinton had an album. I think it was Parliament Funkadelic. America Eats Its Young. And I never understood because, you know, when I was hanging out with George, I was like, man, this cat is out there. But George Clinton was on some stuff.
Oh, he knew everything. Listen, this man was ahead of his time. George Clinton was ahead of his time. Yeah. People thought he was just some crazy dressed in, you know, black hippie. But nah, this dude was out there. He knew. He had some knowledge.
Every time I hung out with George Clinton, man, it was like, I just used to just be like, what did he just say? He talked about painting the White House black. Sir Nose devoid of funk. When you realize that America eats its children and you are helping to serve them in the name of love, we're going to talk in the class about the effects of processed sugar on the three major glands in your head. The pineal, the pituitary, and the hypothalamus. People have no idea what those molecules are doing. We're not talking about sugar cane from, you know.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about the processed sugar and how.
Sugar. I'm having a cup of soda, a bottle of soda. Let me tell you something. That stuff will destroy you.
And a bottle of soda has like, 14 teaspoons of sugar,
Some crazy
which
number.
is like, I think it's 30 feet of sugar cane,
Crazy.
which you could never eat.
Never.
So in the late 1800s and 1900s, all those companies what's that show? The food that made America, that built America. It's a series. It's deep. They showed how all these folks were fighting. All these companies like Kellogg's and all of them were fighting to dominate people in their pockets, and everything was about sugar. Sugar.
Addictive.
Sugar. And the people begin to lose something at that point. They begin to walk like zombies and talk like zombies, and it was all like, this is patriotic. This is how we talk. This is what it is to be American. You got to this place where you got this false sense of security, but you're actually insecure. So what we're going to do this January on the 7th is we're going to break the spell. The energy is going to not only be with those who are listening, but each person will become a transceiver.
That's right.
Each person will. You got to watch Dark Crystal, right? Dark Crystal's deep. That's why I think that's why they took Jim Henson out, because they told him don't do that. He did it anyway.
Yeah.
But that Dark Crystal, our crystals have been broken and they're shattered. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we're going to show you how to put your crystals back together, how to go and get the gold, how to be a gold mine, how to find it. And, it's going to, like I said, it may not be easy, but it's going to be simple because we're going to give you the steps.
We're going to give you every single step by step by step by step, literally. I'm going to be covering not only some spirituality, but also what I think is very important, some financial literacy. Because when you get to spirituality, like we were just talking a few minutes ago, okay, now you got it. Now what? How are you going to be able to manifest abundance in your life? Well, guess what? I don't care how much spiritual knowledge you have. If you don't have any financial literacy to go with it, at the time that we're living in this current financial matrix system, you're going to suffer. And you can be the most spiritual person on the face of the earth. But if you can't pay your light bill, your lights is off. You got to take a bath in cold water. If you can't pay the water bill, the water's off too. Now you got to go live outside and take a bath at the shower at the beach or the park. So there has to be balance.
Yes.
You have to understand that there is a way to become overwoke.
Yes.
Some people out here are overwoke. There's balance needed in everything.
Ooh, that's deep.
You got to remember, yes, we're adept initiates, but at the same time, we are navigating through a matrix. Matter of fact, multiple matrices.
Yes.
And you have to know how to do it. And one of the biggest matrices we have to navigate in this third dimension at this current moment is a financial matrix.
Yes.
So when you can combine spiritual concepts with financial literacy, then you really tap into your God power as well, because now you can take care of yourself. You can also take care of your family. And more importantly, you can become a bigger blessing to others. You can be a blessing to others with no money. I'm not saying you need to be rich. What I'm saying is to be able to help people. Some people want to help people on a large scale.
Yes.
But they can't.
Yes.
Like, man, I hear it all the time. I wish I can do so and so and so. I wish I can help these people, these homeless people, get land and houses or some kind of shelter. I wish I can help these unwed moms. I keep hearing this over the years. I wish. And I keep saying to myself, when are these people going to say, I'm going to do? I'm going to do, not wish. See, the difference between them and me, I don't wish, I do.
Yes.
When I see a problem, I come up with a solution on how can I be a part of the solution, or how can I create the solution? But that takes financial means a lot of times. So if you are living paycheck to paycheck, struggling, you can be the most spiritual person on this planet, but you can't really truly be a blessing to anyone else. And it's all about being of service to others. And unfortunately, in this current matrix, it does take some financial means to help people.
And it's interesting because, greed has to do with survival. Greed, a new country or a new business, it's greedy because it's got to get its business, it's got to get the marketing, it's got to get the people, it's got to get its number. So you're greedy for a minute. That's okay. You're hungry.
Yeah.
That's okay for a minute. But when you take that out of the survival and get into thriving and turn it into aspiration.
Exactly.
So you'd like $100 million for what? What's your why?
Why?
Because I need to get cars and
That's ridiculous.
I need, I got to get, chains. I got to get sneakers. And okay, some of that, if that's what, but aspiration has to do with spirituality.
Exactly.
That means changing people, buy back the block.
Yeah.
Buy back the block.
Yeah.
Start your bank. You could become a bank. I remember when, in the 80s, I said, let's all, this is, all of us, hip hop producers on the West Coast. I got everybody together. First, I showed them how to do it.
Yeah.
I helped a whole lot of people become very wealthy. That's what I've done in my life. I helped a lot of people are still big today that I helped. And I said, now let's have a meeting. First, let's all distribute our own music.
Right.
How are we going to do that? I said, trucks, right?
Yeah.
UPS, the US Mail. How they shipping these records?
Yeah.
Let's go hook up with the rack jobbers and the small record stores and let's do this ourselves. They were like, man, you've lost your mind. You getting high on that stuff again. I says, we're giving these people 74%.
That's too much.
To take the record to the store for us and put it in a rack.
Yeah, that's too much.
Huh? They thought I was crazy. I said, okay, well, look, let's all put our money together and start a bank, our own bank.
Yeah.
Well, who's going to be in charge of the bank? This is the next problem. You going to be in charge of the bank?
You hear these crazy statements.
I was like, I heard that banks only need $1,000 to loan out 9,000.
That's right.
I was like, something's going on here.
Yeah.
And they're turning this money over so fast, giving you this little small percentage for you to put your put your money there. Something's wrong. Yeah. Something's up here. But you got to put your money in the bank. Yeah. You need it for a rainy day. It's raining.
Yeah.
You'd be better off putting it in some, some coffee cans, or at least have it in an old army box in the backyard under an oak tree, so you could put your hands on it. I went to the bank the other day. I was doing a large transaction. Yeah. I walked into the bank, called them and told them I was coming. So yes, I'm coming. My name is Mr. B. And I went there and said, I would like to do a wire transfer. He says, to where?
They want to know everything.
So what do you mean to where? Why? I said, it ain't got nothing to do with you. This is some money I'm transferring.
Do you know these people?
Do you know? Well, and what's it for? What kind of business are you in? I says, that's none of your business. This is, are you the teller?
Right.
You need to tell me. Yes. Yeah. Well, we need to talk to the manager. We need to talk. I said, go get everybody. Get everybody. I said, in fact, let's get all my money out. I want it all. Yeah. Well, no. We don't have to be rash. I got loud in the back. I says, I'm about to get, they say they don't have my money. No, we have it.
They don't have it.
But what we can do, I said, I want to wire it. I want it to be there instantaneously at another destination. Yeah. You don't need to know what it's going for. Why? They got upset. Yeah. Person started pushing numbers. He's personally upset. How much money are you making an hour?
Right.
And see, when you handle people's money like that, you lose your mind. Could you imagine sitting there all day?
Oh, envy.
Can you imagine?
Envy builds up. I know these people. When I go in some of these banks, they have like 15 different accounts. But you can't keep all your money in one bank. That's one thing I'm gonna teach you guys. FDIC insurance is only up to $250,000, and that's and that'll take you 20 years to get that. Anything over that amount, you're screwed. And some banks are at $99,000.
What?
Yeah. So you don't put all your money in one location. But anyway, you walk in these banks and you go do these big transactions. Today I went in the bank and did a transaction, which was only about $35,000 transaction. And I got on a basketball jersey and some shorts. That's all I need. I got clothes on. They want to ask me a million questions and look me up and down. Like, why are you doing this transaction? Who are you? What do you want? Or what? No, just do the transaction. You know what I'm saying? So this is what we got to deal with, though, on the daily.
But we, and I realize that we're banks.
Yeah.
How much electricity does your body make every day? You're the booty.
Yeah.
You're the wealth.
That's right.
They said that actually we're on the stocks. We're on the Wall Street, stock exchange.
Right.
We were the first stock traded.
Yeah.
Whoa. Wait, hold on.
Commodity.
Hold on now.
Commodity. We're commodities. Yeah.
So
traded us as commodities.
And then you could get mad and say, well, no. What we need to do is what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
When I first started my first LLC, my attorney told me it's going to cost about $5,000, and I'll set everything up for you. I've got your back. Well, I had to take a friend of mine down to one of the state houses in California because he was setting up something. I said, "What you doing?" He said, "I'm setting up an LLC." I said, "Where's your attorney?" He says, "What do you mean?" So I said, "You're going to do this yourself?" Yeah. So we walked in. We walk up all the steps. He walks up and the lady says, "Okay, you have the name." He gives a name and she says, "Okay, and it'll be $12.50."
Yeah.
I'm standing there. What?
Yeah. Hey, they got me the first time I did a company.
Did you put it in the news? Put it in a business newspaper that man is upstairs. Go up there for 30 days. After that, nobody says they own the name. I was like,
that's it.
So I got in line. Check it out. I'm in line already with my friend. I says, "I'd like to start an LLC." Right. They said, "Well, what's the name?" Check this out. I hadn't thought about this. I says, "Sole proprietorship." They said, no, not what type it is, sir. Yeah. What is the name? I says, "Sole proprietorship." Yeah. They said, "You can't have the name of what it is." I says, "Why not?" Yeah. I said, "My company is going to help people own their own souls." Right. I'm coming up with this.
No, I love it.
I'm a musician.
Yeah.
This is jazz, man.
That's improvisation. I love it.
The lady says, "I got to go get somebody." She goes in the back. A guy comes. He's got a big book. He's flumming through and they're looking at me, talking through the glass. And they come back. And they says, "I've never heard of this, but no one's done this before. So you're going to call it soul. How are you spelling it?" Yeah. I says, "I want to do two. SOUL and SOLE. Nice. I'd like to do two." She said, "Well, that's going to be double." I said, "Let's pay for it." Yeah. My first business. Nice. I still own it. Yeah. It's sole proprietorship. Wow. And underneath I say, "Own your own soul."
Nice. I love it.
I was coming up with it on the fly.
I love it.
You got to test the system. Yeah. Because they're testing you to see how far you will go before you jump over the fence. Because it's just a farm. Yeah. So what us coming together, it's amazing when, Billy brought this thing together, because I was like, this is deep. And I went and checked out Billy Carson. I was like, I've been hearing about this cat. And I've seen little pictures of him, I went and checked him out. And I only listened to him say a few words. I said, "I know this brother. How do I know him?" I was like, wait a minute. I think that's the guy that they called when they couldn't put the capstone on. Because I have these ancient memories. Yeah. They couldn't do it. So he told everybody to leave. "Get away. Go, go, go." And we came back the next day and the capstone was up and he was sitting there eating some alfalfa. I said, "I think that's the guy." He did it by himself. Imhotep. How did he do this? By himself. Not with a whole bunch of people with ropes and pulleys. Right. And how did they, I hear the limestone came from down the bottom of the ocean. Now, wait a minute now. I'm still trying to figure out how they built those buildings in the 1700s. Yeah. These big cathedrals with the perfect, how did they do that? All they had was, some shovels, a couple hammers, and a horse and carriage. Now, how did they do that? Something's going on here. Yeah. And then I realized that there have been many different, civilizations way before the modern one. Yeah. And I said, wow, well, we are the capstone. So what we get to do now is to do this again. Yeah. Because you can't die. But you'd like to make the best of this. I remember you said on one of these things, you said, "Man, if I come back, I'm coming back as a blade of grass. I'm gonna be the best great blade of grass. I can see this grass. It's one grass. It's just, no matter how many times you cut it,
I'm coming back.
It's coming back."
That's right.
And this is what we're sharing. How to do that. How to make the impossible possible. I've done it in the music industry. I was the first young Black record producer in hip hop in Southern California. The records that I did, this was before the NWA and all that. Right. Each thing I've done was impossible.
Yeah. Because I don't big hits.
I don't know nothing else. Yeah. I don't know. They were sitting in the meeting around the table, and I remember we were working on this deal, and they had me come to the meeting at the record company, and I'm like, I'm there, and I got my joint. I always saved the joint. It was always it was like a prop. Yeah. Because I knew about timing. I watched comedians with a cigarette. And everybody was talking at 8:00 in the morning about the marketing of this record. It's my group. Yeah. And I'm asleep, man. I'm like, they just going around. They said, "Mr. B." I said, "What's up?" "This is your record." And I says, "And it's on my label, isn't it?" "Yes, it's your label, distributed by us." "So how are we going to market it?" I says, "I don't know." They said, "What do you mean you don't know?" I pulled the joint out.
Uh-huh.
They got cigars.
Yeah.
I lit the joint. And I held it in for a minute. I said, we're going to put the record out. And the day after we put it out, it's going to be in the streets and it's going to be in every club in Southern California in 24 hours. He said, how are you going to do that? Don't you worry about that. They didn't know that I was part owner in a record pool. I was my best friend owned a record pool, and we're friends. Yeah. All the DJs would come to him for records. Yeah. So our record's going to be on top. I don't tell them that's none of their business. Don't talk too much. Learn how to mind your business. Shut your mouth. Yeah. I told them, we're going to make this record a gold record off the first single. They said, that's never happened, especially with a black hip hop artist and no one's heard. I said, don't you worry about that. Yeah. It's going to happen. I wave casted into the future. And I'm sitting here and the weed hits. And I'm on Sunset and I'm looking out the window and I see billboards and I make this up on the spot. Yeah. This artist is going to have the first billboard of a young black hip hop artist. It's going to be the largest billboard on Sunset. They're like, oh my God, he's high. I said, yes, I'm the most high. Yeah, there you go. I am. And then I got this thing. I said, here's what you're going to do. You're going to do what I tell you to do. Yeah. They said, huh? All of y'all in this room are going to do what I tell you to do. Yeah. Well, what are you going to tell us to do? I don't know. Don't worry about that. I'll be back. Yeah. And I leave. Yeah. Do you know 6 months later, we had the #1 record. We made history. I negotiated the largest deal in record history. Then the record went gold on the first single. And the artist had the biggest first young black hip hop artist on Sunset Boulevard, DJ Quick. Yeah. Boom! How did you do that? I created it. That's right. When you learn how to create, because we're co-creators. That's right. You're an artist. You just didn't know you was an artist. We create everything. You made it all. Everything is created. Even creating your story. That's right. If it's a sad luck story, you're creating it every day. That's right. So we are creators, and us coming together as co-creators and doing this thing it's a snowball effect. Yeah. And just by you listening, because I'm going to play music, there's going to be colors that we're going to flash at a certain time. Yeah, I love it. We're going to do a subconscious alignment. Yeah. Interesting thing happened. So I was the herbalist, and then I'm gonna give you this story, and then we can finish it. I'm dropping a link in the chat one more time, guys. So click this link. You want to sign up for this workshop. This is kind of teaching you're never going to get anywhere else. I'm just telling you. You can go. You can go to MIT. You can go to some of the biggest universities in the world and give them $150,000, $200,000 for a semester, and you're still not going to get this level of knowledge. I moved into a house that was all dilapidated in LA. I called this number and the man says, oh yeah, I've got the house for rent. You come on down, let's see it. So down the street comes this older man. He walks down the street and he says, how you doing? You want to rent the house? He says, my name is Alvin. I says, Alvin Sugar. I says, Alvin Sugar, wow. He says, if you can get the people out here who've been living here forever, you can rent the place. I'll give it to you for 6 months for free. Wow. Of course, I figure out how to get the people out, give them a little money, blah, 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 blah. I'm renting the house, and he comes down the street one day and he sits on the porch. He says, what are you going to do here? So I'm going to build a recording studio. He says, a recording studio? You're into recording? I says, yeah, I'm an engineer. Wow. He says, yeah, well, I want to check that out. It kind of reminds me of the old days. I said, the old days? Yeah. He says, well, my name used to be Alvin B. Sugarman. Oh, man. I was going to say it was a Sugarman. Wow. I was like, what? I says, who is he? I act like I know. He says, well, he talked like W.C. Fields. Yeah. I am the mathematician who figured out the triggering mechanism for the atom bomb. He's got pictures with him and Oppenheimer and all these cats are standing there. He looks young. Scientist. This is my landlord? Yeah. I just need to get away from the old wife. I'm older now. My body's all deformed from the radiation. My bones, it's like kind of elephant man on the inside. I just want to talk sometime. This man for years would come once a week and sit on my porch and dropped science about civilizations, equations, how to crunch numbers. Yeah. He would just talk because he knew he was dying. Yeah. This was my landlord. Right. He just came to bring the knowledge to your head. He uploaded it, you downloaded it. Yeah. I was doing some music one time. He says, can I hear what you're doing? Can I go in there? I just want to come on in. Yeah. Everybody's looking at this older white guy comes in wearing all black. And well, who's this cat? Right. You know what I'm saying? He says, there's one note you need to change. He says, you need to take that note and change it from an F sharp to an F. I said, huh? That one note just changed that. What do you know about music? It's math. Change the note. The note sounded funny. Song exploded because we figured out that certain frequencies hit certain chakras and certain energies.
Right.
Then he started talking about, you're going to need to tune those instruments different. The tuning is causing a brainwashing. We learned that from the Nazis. Huh? What are you talking about? 440 is not natural. It doesn't exist in nature. It's frying your brains. I learned this from this guy.
Right.
And there was so many people I kept meeting because I always lived off the grid. I always lived in another realm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I only had one job at Baskins and Robbins, and I learned so much from that when I worked that they got plastic and there's antifreeze. You get this antifreeze in the ice cream?
Right.
I went to the plant. What do you mean it's antifreeze?
Yeah.
Well, we don't want it to freeze too quickly or to melt too quickly.
That's why the owner, the guy who founded it, died from eating his own ice cream.
Which happens with a lot of these companies.
Yeah.
But this is the time to live, y'all. This is your time.
Yeah.
If you're listening right now, if you're awake, if you're ready to be wide awake, if you're ready to step to the next level, on the 7th of January, we will drop the code. We're going to open the books. And there's a lot of folks with information. We're not the only ones, but we're the ones at this time that's creating a spark. You see, and a spark is an arc, a spiral arc. We are living in an orchestra. Everything is energy arcing, and those arcs are small pieces of spirals. You see what I'm saying? So what we're doing is we're creating something and doing something that hadn't been done because it needed to get done, and we're opening up the floodgates. And all kinds of folks are going to be coming awake right now, waking up, popping up, because this is the time. Yeah. This is the space. And you're going to learn when the real Christmas is and what you need to be doing. And the day is coming soon. And once you know what to be doing and who you should be on the real Christmas, you will manifest your destiny. It will work if you stay with it. Now, it's about repetition. You got to get into the hypnotic rhythm of things. You can't just do it a couple times and you say, it didn't work. So we're going to give those things. You're going to get, all this material. We're both doing ebooks. Right. Actually, the ebook I was going to give, I decided that it's not ready to give. So I actually been creating another one, which is kind of like a guide and a workbook that we're going to use. So you can have the codes, you can have the references, you see. So, and as you are investing in this, I'm going to teach you how to say return 1,000-fold. There's a way to sign your check. There's a way to sign your credit card and everything where the information that you've written, which is all energy, and your mindset says return 1,000-fold. Every time you give away something, say return 1,000-fold. And this whole thing of giving 10% is why you're broke. Yeah. They give 10%. The wealthy people I know, they give 50, and they say return 1,000-fold. So guess what? You're still investing. It's not going away. So you're not spending. We're circulating. Yeah. So there's going to be so many pieces, and I'm just so glad, Billy, to be here with you.
Amen.
And to be able to put these pieces together.
Yeah.
These pieces, because you have some pieces that I've been looking for those pieces.
And vice versa. You have pieces that I've been looking for. So this is a perfect collaboration. This is a mega collaboration.
Yes.
And I'm so excited to be a part of it. And I'm looking forward to January the 7th. I dropped the link in the comments several times. It's also in the caption of this video. I'll probably turn this into an audio podcast also. So if you're listening to this, click that link, register ASAP. Limited space is available. And you just want to be a part of this. Is going to be something that's going to be incredible. Dr. B for 5 hours, myself for 5 hours, going in on spiritual concepts, metaphysics, quantum mechanics, financial literacy, but giving up all of the information, not just teasing information, but actually giving you step by step, do this. Okay, you did that. Now do this. Okay, you did that. Now do this. The financial literacy information that I'm going to give you is going to give you everything you need step by step by step. I'm going to hold your hand virtually and take you through everything step by step. And you're going to get an ebook. That ebook is going to give you a phenomenal amount of information in regards to the first thing is financial literacy. The second thing is spirituality. So this is an event you don't want to miss. You don't want to miss this event. It's something that was manifested originally thought of originally before it manifested by Richard Merritt. Then it manifested into reality. Now we're sitting here in the flesh, in the third dimension, at the same point in space and time, and we're letting you guys know it's time to learn. This is our time.
It is, and we have to take it.
Yeah,
we can't ask for it. We can't beg for it. You can't hope and pray.
Yeah,
I mean, even your holy book says don't beg, because that means you don't have it.
Exactly.
You have to be grateful in advance. You have to act and feel and live as if it has happened.
Exactly.
Do you see what I'm saying? If you can't feel it, see, we got caught up in the vision. You got to get in more into the feeling, and you could balance the hearing, the auditory, the visual, and the kinesthetic.
Yeah,
you got it.
You got it. Yeah.
And one of the things that I'm going to be offering in there's going to be music that you're going to hear at certain times. I'm going to play. And, you know, I've been creating what they call medicine music. That's something I created years ago, which on my website, you know, elevationtime.com, you can download a lot of this medicine music, which takes you on a whole journey. Musically. It's like you're traveling through the galaxy.
Yeah.
Somebody said, man, it's almost like a mushroom trip or something. DMT. Well, you know, those all are frequencies. So you're going to get, you know, you're going to hear music, you're going to see sounds, and then there's tone and frequency. And even the cadence that we're going to talk in is going to lead us up to this place where I'm going to do a subconscious alignment. And a subconscious alignment is when you can get your conscious mind and your subconscious mind to be connected and directed in such a way that they connect directly to superconscious. Because the subconscious is the conduit in between your conscious desires, right? And your, you know, and what's possible out there in the quantum field. You see, that subconscious is just a secretary. It's not here to hate on you or stop you. It can be, it's just the secretary. It just takes the books and the vibrations and the feelings and experiences and puts them in a file cabinet. And those things that are really emotional go to the top of the file cabinet, and they're readily available. So you go off in a minute. You know what I'm saying? You don't even know why you're scratching and itching. It's because your grandfather, just before something happened, he used to scratch and itch. You're smoking cigarettes because something happened that has, you know, you're in that loop, and there's a way to break it. So to make this really stick, we're going to do a couple of type of what we call pattern interrupts. Going to teach you how to interrupt patterns. When you say something, you realize you said it. There's a way to break that pattern. Because it's traveling. You know what I'm saying? You could pull it back because you're the creator.
Exactly.
Your creations are always looking for the maker. They're always looking for the maker. Star Trek. The last one with Captain Kirk, he's an admiral, where they go and they find this creature called V'ger. Gotta watch it.
Oh yeah, I love it. That's a great one.
It's talking about it, how your creations are looking for the maker. And unless they find it, you destroy things. You're looking for the maker. So you're creating everything. And it's looking for the maker, but you've got to recognize, you got to recognize, oh, this is my stuff. This is mine. All of it's mine. So when we start looking at the enemy, you created it.
You created it. I keep telling people, we always like look what they're doing. Look what the government did. Look what this so-and-so did. Yeah, we're going to let you know what they have, that their plans are, so we can prepare for what's happening properly. But at the same time, we still keep participating in the same system. So who's doing it? It's us that's doing it. We are doing it. And they're just another aspect of us anyway. So it's us doing it to ourselves.
And everything is connected to its opposite.
That's
and you need contrast. And to make a diamond, you need heat. You need pressure. This is alchemy. The first step of alchemy is calcination. So when you're talking about personal and spiritual alchemy, most folks never get out of calcination.
No, they stuck there.
Because you got to burn off all the stuff that's not the true meta-L. When you get down to the meta-L, that's a whole nother thing. When you get down to the meta-L, the pure thing, the pure gold or platinum or whatever it is, that's when you can go to the next step. But you got to burn off a lot of things. And there's a lot of things that we just have to let go of. And we've got to get back to love. That doesn't mean you're not going to be angry and upset sometimes, but you first have to love yourself and be loving. You know what I'm saying? You've got to learn how to program your water. By the way, this is some really good water.
That's programmed water.
I don't know where this water came from. I mean,
Billy got that's programmed water.
Billy got some real water here.
Oh, listen, I'm gonna show you the whole system. You're gonna be like, what in the world?
I just asked before the podcast. I said, Billy, can I have a little water? I said, what? Billy.
Because
my thing is all I feel. I think it's feeling more than thinking. I'm feeling.
Right.
I feel things, and this water is music.
Yeah. Yeah.
This water
incredible.
is music.
Yeah.
So thank you for the water.
Oh, no problem. Listen, we are water, so you have to put the best water in your body.
And what's interesting, coming into your neighborhood, I saw nothing but fountains.
Oh yeah.
I said, "Oh man, this cat saw some stuff." They got mountains of pyramids and
pyramids
steps
on the way in
with water. I was like, Billy.
Yeah, my entrance to my neighborhood is gigantic pyramids.
It's crazy. I said, see this water that's in the air.
Yeah.
But when you understand that whole concept of water and being liquid, and just know that Disney, right? He was able to get in every house. He said, "I will be in every house like water."
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse. And if you look at Mickey Mouse, look at the shadow, it's H2O. It's 2 big molecules of hydrogen.
Wow, crazy.
1 big molecule of oxygen.
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse. And then they got a song. Because most of these songs are spells.
Oh, yeah. They
MICKEY. Does that sound happy? MOUS. I'm a musician.
Yeah, yeah.
What is that? Dun, dun, dun. It's going down. Dun, dun, dun. Everybody looks happy, but they're all in this zone. Mickey Mouse.
Right.
There's a mouse in the room. There's something on the wall watching you. And he was in every house.
Yeah. He understood how to cast spells. He was a big spell caster.
Disney. Tinkerbell, she got a reverse spiral there. She's moving away from you.
Yeah.
You see, so these things have been encoded, but they can be easily broken.
Yeah.
So whenever and I was reading Art of War, and it's about not fighting. You let your enemy bring you the weapon.
That's right.
You let them bring it. Whatever move they're going to have, you can just reverse it.
It's spiritual judo.
Tai Chi.
Yeah.
So what we're going to teach you is a type of Tai Chi.
Yeah.
You know, Qigong, all of that is going to be happening in the class.
Yeah.
And there's one exercise we're going to show. When you see this exercise, it breaks a whole lot of your root chakra trauma, like in minutes. And you do this every day, you start flying. You don't mind going through trial and tribulation. You're in traffic. Well, I'm in traffic. I got some things I can do. Let me think. Instead of you're mad, you're angry, you're gripping the wheel. I hate my job.
Right.
Use your job as the steps of the pyramid.
Exactly.
That's the step pyramid.
Say it all the time.
You see, so I'm really excited. I'm feeling good, and it's good to talk to all of you out there and really share at this point. And you know, we don't have to be in the prison.
No, we don't have to be. It's a choice.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
Let's choose. Let's choose well. Choose wisely.
Yeah.
Choose love. Choose peace. And even if you have nothing to say, nothing good to say. Sometimes just be quiet. And stop giving those beings that you keep calling whatever power. You're giving them power by focusing too much on them.
Focusing way too much on them.
Some of them they need you.
They need you. They need you more than you need them. And you're neglecting your own self, which is where the power is located. So we're going to teach. Look, we have a whole thing coming up. We can't stay on here too long tonight, guys. But we've gone an hour, 19, hour, and 20 minutes, which is great. Thanks for hopping on here. Thanks for spending some time with us. I know I popped on kind of late after a whole nother 2-hour video I did, but you guys, you hang tough, and you came here. Hopefully we dropped some nuggets that will give you some information that you can actually, let it seed and germinate inside your brain and marinate and grow into something. But definitely we want to see you at the workshop. The link is in the caption. The link is in the comments. I'm Billy Carson, aka Forbidden Knowledge. I got Dr. B Sirius. Where can they find you, Dr. B?
Elevationtime.com, elevationtime.com, and also on Instagram at Doctah, Doctah, the letter B, and then Sirius, just like the star, Sirius. The same thing on Instagram, Facebook, and where else am I? Also on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. So Dr. B Sirius. I follow you on Twitter also.
Oh, really? Wow. Yeah.
All right. So you can find them everywhere, guys. Elevationtime.com. All right, guys. Third Eye Love. Peace. Yep.